Okay, cool. So angles, next set of angles is, this is going to be dealing with angles. This video is going to be dealing with angles in parallel lines. Okay, so if we have two parallel lines, okay, and parallel lines are basically lines which are going in the same direction and are the same distance from each other at all points. Okay, so that's sort of right, going in this direction, and it's the same distance from each other. Okay, it's basically as far as they go. Okay, and we could have a line that passes through these two parallel lines, and this line that passes through them is called the transversal line. Okay, and when this occurs, certain angles appear on this, or in these parallel lines. So we are going to try and find out what they are. But first of all, let's say that we're going to work with a certain angle over here. Let's say this is 150 degrees. And what I want to know is, from this diagram, the first set of basic angles we're going to try and find are something called corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. And these angles are angles which are in the same position in your parallel lines. So they basically look the same and are basically in the same position as other angles. So this angle over here has a matching, or is in basically the same position as this angle over here. And we can see that by eye. So naturally we would say that 150 degrees is over here, and therefore because this is basically the same position as the angle over here, this is also 150 degrees. And then using our law that angles on a straight line must add up to 180 degrees, we can find out what this angle is. So 180 minus 150 gives you 30 degrees. So this is also 30 degrees because it's exactly the same. 180 minus 150, this is a straight line, give you 30 degrees. And we can see that basically this was 30 degrees because these are corresponding angles. So if this is 30, this is 30. Okay. Then we can do the same process. This is also a straight line, so this is 180 minus 30, which is 150 degrees. And the same will be over here, 150. And lastly, this is also 30, and I'm sure you guys can see that now. Okay, so the first set of angles that we come to are corresponding angles. So these angles are in matching positions, as we just saw. So this angle over here, this 30 degrees, is in the same position as this 30 degrees. So it would be natural to say that they're equal to each other. And this 150 degrees is in the same position or matching position as this 150 degrees. So it's also natural to say that they are equal to each other. So corresponding angles sort of come in the form of an F. Okay, so we could have an angle here and an angle here, and we can see that these are matching positions, so they're equal. Or basically you could have it on top of F. Those are corresponding, so they are equal. Okay. Now, if we can find that any of these, basically, if you can look in this diagram and find those F's, you can be able to tell corresponding angles. But just have a look. It would make sense to you because those angles are in matching positions. So I'm just going to redraw these lines quickly, parallel lines, transverse line going through them, and they are going in the same direction. Okay, so if we have a line, let's have a look from this diagram over here. We're going to now discuss alternate angles. Angles which are on the opposite side of the transverse line. So opposite angles on the transverse line would be ones like these. If you have an angle A, the angle which is opposite angle A, and basically is opposite on the transverse line, that would be angle B over here. Okay, so you can see it's on the opposite side of the transversal line to A. So in this case, if we have a look, so this angle and this angle would be 30 and 30 in this diagram. So what can we tell about alternate angles? Alternate angles are equal. And then basically again we can say that this angle over here, C, and we can draw an angle over here, D. Angle C and D are opposite angles, basically they're on the opposite side of the transverse line. Okay, so angle D and C would be 150 and 150, alternate angles are equal, they're the same. So if we had on this diagram, if we had 30 degrees over here, and we were told to find C, we would know that because alternate angles are equal, C would also have to be 30 degrees. Okay, and therefore B is 150 degrees. If A and B are alternate angles, we would know A also must be 150 degrees. So alternate angles are equal, and there are angles on the opposite side of the transverse line. Okay, I hope this is making sense. I know this is a bit rough, but let me know if you have any questions about what I'm saying. Okay, it's alternate, corresponding, and now we get something called co-interior angles. And co-interior angles are angles which occur basically enclosed by a U shape. If these are the parallel lines, the angles would usually be A and B. So in this diagram, angles enclosed by the U shape would be the same thing, A and B, and then on the left side it could be C and D. These are co-interior angles because they are surrounded by a U shape. There's a U shape surrounding A and B, and we can draw another shape, red, and here's a U shape surrounding D and C. So if we look at the diagram, we can see what is these two angles, what is specific about them, what do we need to know about them. A and B, if you look over here, if D is 30, A is 150. These two angles added together give us 180 degrees. So co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So A plus B must be equal to 180 degrees. Same for C and D. Let's have a look at the first diagram. Angles which are surrounded by a U shape would be on the left side here as well. So as on the right, but just look at the left for now. It's 30 and 150, add those together you get 180. So C plus D must give you 180 degrees. So if we knew that C was 70 degrees, for example, we would have to know that 70 degrees, which is C, plus D must give you 180 degrees. So D is equal to 110 degrees. Okay, so those are our three properties of parallel lines, of angles that we can find, so just keep them in mind. And yeah, we'll go through some more, probably some examples. So angles in parallel lines, you get corresponding angles, angles which are in matching positions, okay, they are equal. You get alternate angles, angles on the opposite side of the transversal lines, so D is equal to C, B is equal to A, and co-interior are angles surrounded by a U shape, such as A and B are surrounded by a U shape, and if you add them together you should get 180 degrees. C plus D should also equal 180 degrees because they are also co-interior angles. Okay, cool. Hope this has helped. Let me know. Thanks.